at 1840. He just did a collab with someone that we've already talked to, Brewfinity. So we thought we'd come here, talk to Kyle, the head brewmaster and owner, correct?
And for those of you who don't know, here is 1840. Let's just make that up. So, yeah. I mean, you can see it on the glass, but we got Kyle here from 1840. So,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for having us over.
My pleasure. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So, what did you start us off with here?
So this is a new IPA that's coming out this weekend. It's Cross-Eyed and Painless, it's called. It's double dry hops, hop bursted, double IPA. We brew it, as you can taste. It's really smooth and creamy. There's no lactose in here. We use brewing techniques and ingredients to make it rich and creamy like that. And then use a ton of hops. And the result is you can't tell if it's a 9.9% double IPA. So that's how we got the name. So big music fans here, and love the Talking Heads. Cross-Eyed and Painless is a cool song. While the big our joke is while the ABV may make it cross-eyed, the sip will be painless.
Makes sense. Yeah, this is I would not want to make the mistake of turning this into a patio pounder.
Yeah, you could do that as long as you're into a nice nap afterwards.
Right, yeah, or you don't have any plans for the rest of the day, you know.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really refreshing, definitely.
So, where do you get your inspiration for all your beers? Like, how do you come up with your names? How do you come up with your recipes?
Naming beers is hard. Creating beer recipes is a piece of cake. We've been doing this a long time, collectively between myself and other brewers. We have, decades of experience, and so it's easy for us to write the recipes. Gathering information or inspiration comes mostly just because I'm a student of beer. I read about it. Everybody I follow on social media is either a brewer or a brewery. Like I'm just constantly immersed in beer, and so that's where we kind of get our ideas from. As we are watching the market, we're thinking about new flavors. Sometimes, like I'm eating food, and I'm like, it'd be cool to make a beer that used this ingredient. Or like the other day, we got a new body wash and it has lavender in it. I was showering and I was like, this smells really nice. Like we should put this into a beer. So yeah, I'm just constantly thinking about beer, and we love to experiment. We don't have core brands. We don't have one product that you're always going to see here. We do have beers we make over and over, but it's not like I'm making it over and over where it's never going to leave my taps. Like we have beers that, my most popular beer, we only make about once a quarter. So, because for us it's about experimentation. I call this consumable art, and this is just what we enjoy doing, is crafting these beverages and the challenge of making them taste the way we want them to. And so, I'm a little too ADD in my brewing to like be making one beer. That's what I did at my last shop. Is we had 3 core brands, and I made them all day, every day, and we're totally different than that now.
So you're sitting there at that job going, I want to put this in there, I want to put that in here. Now you get to actually play with it. It's like this is like your giant toy, your playground.
Yeah, exactly. It's a canvas, or our lab, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
So I noticed you said that you don't like to keep one beer on tap at all times, right? So you don't have like a flagship beer, basically. You just like to. I know I've been to other breweries where one brewery specifically, he said he brews every like 2 days, 2.5 days or something. So you like doing stuff like that, just something new all the time, nothing insane?
Yeah, we don't brew as often because we have bigger equipment than I'm guessing whoever that was you were talking to, but brewing is the fun part. Creating the recipes and then having them end up like this where you can actually enjoy it, that's the fun part.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
you're only this much through, so I know that's not the alcohol talking yet.
Right. No, wait until we get down to around here.
Yeah, and then we can't trust anything that you say.
Well, then we'll have to switch that Cesar.
There you go.
Yeah. So going a little backwards to the kind of think tank you have going on with all the other brewers.
Yeah.
How often do you actually like look at a recipe or ideas that another brewer or brewery has and say like, oh, that looks like a great idea. What if I had added this ingredient to that? What would be like that example? What would be an example of that you have?
We do that all the time. I think the best example, most recent anyway, would be Mexican drinking chocolate. That's a beer that we released in December, and it was a Mexican stout. So it was based off of a Mayan chocolate beverage is how we based it, but there's a lot of these Mexican stouts out on the market. And we went and tried them, and there's some that have lots of cinnamon, some that have lots of vanilla, some that have lots of coffee or cocoa nibs or whatever. But like what I found is that most of the beers that we tried that were in this Mexican stout category all had one flavor that really stood out. And what we wanted to try to do when we made that beer was have all the flavors just kind of come together as one thing. And if you ever have mole, it tastes like mole, right? It doesn't taste like chocolate, it doesn't taste like cinnamon or chilies, like it's all of those things.
Yeah.
And so, because they slow cook that for 18 hours. Well, we wanted to have a beer that tasted like we slow cooked it for 18 hours, and it was one cohesive flavor rather than being like, oh, that beer's got cinnamon in it, or that beer has chilies in it. Like and so that's an example where we went out into the market and tried commercial examples, and then try to figure out how we could improve on what we were tasting.
So ultimately, how did you end up achieving that?
We guessed.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with that.
Yeah, I suppose you could, right? But we thought, all right, this is probably the right amount of these things. And we like I said, we pulled from our past experiences. So, one of my guys has brewed a beer that had, cinnamon in it or whatever. I don't remember, and I've brewed a beer with other things. So we pulled on our experiences of, well, we're probably going to need this much of this ingredient. And I was nervous, I'll be honest. I was nervous that we were going to put too much of one thing in it. And that would stand out, and that was totally not our goal. So it's a guess. We have to kind of draw on our past experiences. Thankfully I've been brewing a long time. I mean, I'm 35 now. I started when I was 20, home brewing, and then I've had 2 professional brewing gigs before this. And so I've got a lot of turns on the brewing equipment to pull from.
So 15 years of experience really says something.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
It helps. I still don't know everything. I'll be the first person to tell you that. I make mistakes every day, but we're learning always, and that's, I think, what makes it easier for us, is because we're not afraid to hit the books or like hit the internet or call other people like, how did you achieve this or whatever. Like that's what's cool about brewing, is that everybody's really friendly and open and willing to share.
The brewing community is really, as I've been talking to different brewers, like you guys are so open, like to talk and like get to know each other, which is completely awesome.
It's not really as competitive as other industries. Like, yes, we're all in a market, and it's a finite market, and we're all trying to succeed. But we do it in a collaborative way, and I firmly believe the rising tide lifts all ships. So if one of my buddies calls me, like Venture, Rob and those guys came from a homebrewing background, and they make phenomenal beers, but he'll hit me up sometimes like, what do you think about this? And I can give him some feedback or a source. And actually what's funny is like I get the same thing from them. Like I hit him up, where did you find this or that? So it's fun.
The nicest one that they have right now is Gregory's cousin with chai tea.
Oh, with chai, hey.
Yeah, that was an interesting twist. It kind of like, it was a cooling kind of sensation. I love that. It was an undertone of it more than the key characteristics flavor, but it was still
so smooth, so refreshing.
It's awesome. They make great beer. So.
They do.
So kudos to them too. Yeah. Like I said, for coming from homebrewing and doing diving all in. Like anybody I know who starts as a home brewer and goes straight into owning their own brewery, it's like, wow, you're ballsy. You have more. I don't know. It's just pretty impressive. So
sometimes you just have to, and that's when you succeed. When you
totally
least expect it.
Yeah, they're a great example.
So what do you offer? Like different breweries offer different things. What sets you apart from every other brewery around?
Well, I think I see that we do a lot of barrel aging, barrel fermentation. We focus on, again, small batch stuff. We don't have any core brands or flagships. It's experimentation. It's education too. Like a lot of what we do is different or unique in some way, and so whether that's a process or an ingredient or something, and so we try to educate people on why what we do is special, why it is different, how we got to this final product. Like I'm totally cool telling people what's in here. I want you to know, because that's how you're going to appreciate it if you know the hard work that went into it. Some of these barrels in here, we just packaged a beer the other day for our members, and it was in barrels for 23 months.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's
2 years almost.
almost.
yeah,
Wow.
that's a long time.
Yeah.
So what did you end up? What did that beer end up
stuff.
achieving from? Like, what kind of flavors pull that in? Like, because a lot of places I know they don't barrel age for as long.
Yeah, well, it gets sour, and it develops some fruitiness and some other characteristics that only that time can create. You extract some flavor from the wood. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, time will tell. The beer's not done yet. It's still in bottles. We bottled it, but it's got another month or two in bottles before we're ready to sell it or to give it to our members.
Because you gotta let it settle for a while. Right?
Bottle conditioning takes time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a re-fermentation. It's a second fermentation. So you ferment beer, and the sugars are consumed. And then when you bottle condition, you add more sugar and yeast to the solution, so that yeast will eat that sugar that you added, and because there's nothing left in the beer, and then that happens in the bottle. And so by having that second fermentation in the bottle, you have a beer that's more shelf stable. It's going to taste better for longer, basically, and it also just really helps pronounce all the flavors that were developed during that first fermentation.
So what do you have in barrels behind you here?
All kinds of stuff.
I don't see much in terms of labels on there, but I see all different types of.
Yeah, we keep the labels to the other side.
Tapped,
Fair enough.
and not tapped, just corked.
We've got about 47 different full barrels in here right now. Everything from wild and sours to stouts that are just aging. So we do two things in here with barrels. We do barrel fermentation, which would be we use wild yeast or bacteria to ferment the beer directly in the barrel. We also do barrel aging, where we ferment the beer in the stainless steel and then put it into the barrel for an extended period of time to just age. Two different things that have two different goals in mind. And so we have stouts, well, let's just list out the barrels. We have bourbon, whiskey, tequila, red wine, white wine, brandy. That's what we've got right now. And then in those barrels are all kinds of different beers.
That's interesting. So do you prefer one type of barrel from one company over another, or you just kind of get your hands on whatever you can?
It depends what we're making.
Okay.
The barrel's an ingredient, right? So
Yeah.
the same way we pick our grains or our hops or our yeast that we're going to use, we pick the barrels the same way. So it's about a neutral barrel in winemaking means that it doesn't contribute any more oak flavor to the beverage. So when we get it, I love that, a neutral barrel, because I'm not after the tannin or the oak characteristics as much as I am after the wine flavor that was in there. So these barrels maybe have made wine 5 times, and so it's going to taste really winey at first, and I like that. So if we're making a barrel fermented beer, we want some of that wine characteristic. We're going to source a neutral barrel that's older, whereas we can get younger wine barrels if we want the tannin and things like that.
Okay.
So there's different breweries that have different mug club. I know I spoke briefly to you before we started filming. You said you have a membership club. It's not a mug club, it's something different. Did you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, we call it our VIP program. My last name is Vetter, so it's Vetter's Important People.
Oh, fair enough.
And
Clever.
so what that is basically we have 2 tiers right now, and from last year, our first year in business, to this year, it's evolved a little bit and changed, but where we're at right now, and it will continue to do so. Next year it'll be different in some ways, but what we have right now is 2 tiers. That's an annual program. The higher tier is sold out, but it allows you to come on Thursday nights. You get 4 bottles of beer that nobody else gets, some merchandise, $1 off all your beers by the glass. and the ability to pre-order all of our bottles, and we'll hold them for 30 days, so you'll never miss a beer release. If you're going out of town, but you really wanted to get this beer, I will probably sell out a bottle this week. But if you really want it, you just remember, you just pre-order it, you got it. You know, and so we'll hold it for a month, no big deal. The lower tier, we still have a few spots left available, which will go through August. And that's all the same perks, except you don't get the special bottles. So you still get the $1 off beer with a glass, the ability to pre-order, and you can't come Thursday either. You can come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which are our public hours. Is Friday 3 to 10, Saturday 11 to 10, and Sunday noon to 8.
So typically, do you have to be a member to get in here, or is somebody able to come in from off the street? They're walking down the street, they can walk in and...
Those hours I just listed, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, are public. They're open for everybody. Our lower tier members...
I just noticed this.
Yeah.
VIP.
Yeah. Ours don't have that. Our lower tier membership allows you to come in any of those public hours, but you also get the perks. But those are our public hours. They're open every Friday, Saturday, Sunday for everybody.
Okay. So you heard it here. You don't have to be a member to enjoy this stuff.
Which is a common misconception, actually, because our first year in business, we were open 4 days a month, and 3 of those were for members. So literally 1 day a month to the public in our first year of business. To the public, in our first year, we were open about 18 days. And that's the 12 once a month, and then a couple other pop-up events that we did. And we were open a lot more than that. We were open 75% more than that, but you had to be a member to come. Whereas now we shifted that, and it's pretty much we're open for everybody more than we are members. Our membership kind of shifted. Now we have more public and less members.
So what caused that shift?
Making more beer. The original model of once a month and the membership-heavy program was based on supply. I was concerned, knowing how much beer we'd be able to make, that I was concerned that we'd sell out of our beers, and then it's pretty tacky if you open a new business and 3 weeks in you have to close for 5 weeks because the beer you make takes so long.
Right.
It's not like we turn on a faucet and beer comes out. Like, especially some of these beers, 23 months, right?
Yep.
Some of these beers, like, they take a long time, and with barrel fermenting specifically, or barrel aging really, but the beer's ready when it's ready. We just had a bourbon barrel beer that we tried last week that had been in the barrel for 6 months. Okay,
Smells pretty good though.
we're gonna. No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
it's really
I can't
fruity.
just drink it. I gotta smell
Yeah,
it too.
it's
I gotta
good.
enjoy it
I
every
was
single time.
doing the
Totally.
same thing. I'm like, man, this smells really good. Just real citrusy. Just.
Yeah, citrusy. It's a little piney. Yeah, it's a cool beer. A little lemongrass even. Too,
Yeah.
like,
Ooh,
I was gonna say that a very, very hint of that, and maybe a little banana.
yeah,
I think,
I'm sure there's
like-
some interesting. I mean, that's the best part about this is right. Your palate's different than mine. Your sensory experiences in your life are different than mine. So the information you have to pull from to make these connections. And the more you taste beer with people, the more you can make those connections. You map those connections in your mind. And so it's fun. Like you can. I mean, drinking beer is great. I enjoy drinking, but tasting.
Who doesn't?
Right?
People who don't like beer, but they're kind of crazy, I think.
Yeah. So tasting is different though. That's something that you have to give thought to it, and that we enjoy doing that. It's not easy. You have to focus, and but it's fun.
Oh, definitely. And I know, kind of what got me doing this in the first place was the fact that I like beer, and I was starting to pick up some of the flavors and stuff, and being able to recommend some beers to family and friends. And then I decided, you know what, just for the heck of it, let's pull a bottle, and read the label, see what's in there, smell that, see if I can pick that out, and then go from just kind of graduate, go okay, not even gonna look this, just gonna pour this in a glass, smell it, drink it, and see what happens.
You'd love
just kind of
this.
that progressive.
At Sugar Maple on Tuesday nights, they give you 5 pours of beer for free, and you get to guess them. They have 60 taps, right? So they give you the menu, and they give you a little pour, and you
You've
have
never
to.
been to Sugar Maple?
I've been to Sugar Maple, but I did not know they had that.
Yes, Tuesday nights, and you guess the beer, and you get 3 guesses for each beer, and you get 5 points, 3 points, or 1 point if you get your first guess, second guess, or third guess correct in each category. It's fun, but I think you'd like it because it's really freaking hard. It's really hard. We went this last Tuesday, and I got a couple right, and I was like, yes, that was a challenge. I was like, whoo.
I mean, if they give you one of each different type, and they got 5 stouts on tap, and you only have 1 stout, that's
Actually, Mike Doble all the way to Exploring Brew Pub. he just did that. We had a mug club night Monday.
Okay.
So he had 4 of his that he's had the longest. He had us try it, see if we could figure out what it was.
Cool.
I had 2 out of the 4, so.
That's great. No, Mike's great. He's also super into education and making sure his customers know.
Mike Doble is one of the coolest,
Yeah.
like, down to earth, like, he'll sit there and talk to you and just let you know, like, what's up. And,
Totally.
like, help out. Like,
And we work with them a lot since we don't brew here, the brewing part. Everyone thinks, when they think about brewing, they think about stirring the grains and boiling and all that, and we don't actually do that here. We go and we use other people's systems. We take our recipes and our ingredients.
I heard that you and Mike, he brews for you sometimes.
Well, we do all the work actually. So Mike's super cool in that he gives us his system for the day, basically. And we go there and we brew it with our recipes and our ingredients. And I'm just renting the equipment and making sure that he's covering his utilities and all those things for the day. And it's an amazing relationship. We wouldn't be able to grow if it weren't for this agreement with Mike. When we first opened, we were going to just try to brew larger batches with a bunch of different people. But then we started getting into a lot of these clean beers, no wild yeast or bacteria.
Right.
That only ferment in stainless steel, and they turn quicker. And so that meant we needed to brew more. And he stepped up and was like, man, I'll help you out. I know you need some help to get from A to B, and I'm happy to do it. And we couldn't be.
I've heard that from a couple different brewmasters. Mike just stepping up and being the guy that he is.
Very supportive.
Very supportive, outstanding. I've got nothing bad to say about Mike at all.
Right.
Yeah. No,
me and him actually.
Cheers, Mike.
Yes. Cheers, Mike. Me and him just actually started taking over the run club over there now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So,
a little bit of that.
yeah. So I'm part of the mug club over there, so I talk with them, and I've got a couple of friends that have bars, so I've been talking with them and some, numbers for them.
Cool.
But which is another reason why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to get other beers and you keg beers for other bars. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yes,
We'll have to talk after this. But yeah, this has been awesome.
You do like a one-night stand keg in some bar somewhere.
Yeah, no, we do that. I mean, I've sold keg to certain people. We have most of our accounts where we sell our beer too, because we don't have a lot of it. We're still a very small brewery, and so when we do have extra, I try to focus on bars that I just appreciate their understanding or their presentation or their care of beer. Like we try to focus on beer bars, craft beer bars, people who really know what they're doing. They're going to sell our product well, they're going to take care of the product, because that's super important to me. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into our products, and I want to sell them to people who are going to respect them. And so thankfully we've got a lot of amazing partnerships right now with really great retailers that sell our beer to people who appreciate it. It's fun. Definitely.
So how many different bars do you normally get your beers into around here, rough?
I mean, we're not consistent in any bar really, but we're all over. We have a number of bars in Bayview, from the south up, Romans, Bernhardt's, and Sugar Maple, Good Kind. Then we've also do Meraki on 2nd Street. We've got Merriman Social on 3rd Ward, Stubby's on the east side, Draft and Vessel in Shorewood. We go west too, so we've got ABB Social, 3 Cellars in Menominee Falls, Champs.
Champs is a great spot.
Yeah, Brass Tap.
Brass
We
as
were
well.
just there for a brewing
For another
project,
one,
and Claire had to take over.
There you go. Pale House.
These are another good one.
These are all the these are all the Johnny Hammers. These are all the people that have been supportive of us, and most of them reached out to us, which is great. Like, hey, we really want your beer. So to me, that means they're paying attention to what's going on in the scene, and they, we know that they are a top tier retailer of beer. So all those places are places that I would hang out.
Right.
Or do hang out.
As you said, when you're mentioning names like Champs and Brass Tap that are really big in the area and do those tap takeovers and stuff. They're, as you said, they're paying attention to you, like taking the care and love and time that you put into these beers, aging them for as long as you do, and getting the kind of more, I would call them in terms of other, maybe your casual beer drinker, more eccentric flavors and aromas and all of that, which is, it's amazing.
Cool.
Well, and so many
place
people are just.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention is Brew City MKE. Have you guys been to that museum? It's at Grand Avenue Mall downtown.
Oh, okay.
Super cool. They have a beer museum there and taps it, so you can pay to go into the museum, or you can just walk in and sit at the bar and drink. And they only carry beer made in Milwaukee.
Excellent.
It's really cool.
I'm really gonna.
We'll have to-
I've read about it, but I haven't been there. I know Mike's been there. He did some lessons there or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did there. I know he had a takeover there, I think. But I've read about it. I've been wanting to go there, so I'm gonna have to go check. Maybe we'll
Check
do
it
that.
out.
Maybe we'll do
We'll
that
have to do that.
after here. Maybe.
We'll have to check it out for a little bit. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's worth stopping by. It's cool. The exhibits are neat. And, you can go and see like one of the original capping, like manual type capping machines that they had at Miller. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So now you obviously we're mentioning different breweries here and the work you have to do to kind of get yourself into there, to use their equipment and stuff. What kind of collaborations do you do collaborations with all those brewers?
Not all of them.
Or any of them?
No, not all of them. I've worked with a ton of breweries, but we don't collaborate with everybody. So because at the end of the day, we're just buying a raw ingredient or buying sugar water from them, and so some people, if they have the space, they let us in and we work there, but we don't necessarily work together. But I've done a ton of collaborations and more on the way. 2019 is the year of the collab for 1840.
We still have to taste your collab.
Happy to
with
do it.
Brewfinity with Chad from Chad and Eric.
By mid-April, we will have done about a dozen collaborations this year.
Already. How many of those do you have going right now or aging?
Brewfinity came out last weekend. I have one with 608 Lacrosse coming out next week. I'm going up to Minnesota, Twin Cities area, beginning of March, and we're going to brew 2 different beers, one with Back Channel and one with Dangerous Man. And then we also have some stuff in the works with Hacienda. We're going to brew 2 beers, Eagle Park for a joint beer fest on 420 March. Yeah, we're hosting the pre-party on the 19th.
That sounds awesome.
The party for Eagle Park I've already seen. For 420, you're not going to want to miss it.
No, you're not. It's going to come here on the 19th, no tickets required.
Glass blowing, we got a couple releases going.
10.
10, yes.
That's more than a couple.
I've seen a couple, I didn't go 10. But yeah, they got
we're going to
glass
host this pre-party on the 19th. We're going to have, we're going to be vaporizing hops for people to smell the difference between the hops.
What?
Yeah, we're going to have a reggae band.
$75 a ticket for that.
For their party's ticketed event, yeah, but it's worth it.
It is.
And it includes a lot of beer and like beer to take away and beer for there. It's totally worth it in my opinion. If I wasn't already working it, I would pay it.
I might have to take you there because he has yet to be there. I've been there at least 3 times.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta go. Their food is great. Their beers are awesome. So.
They're very an IPA place.
Oh yeah, IPAs.
They're milkshake IPAs.
Totally. They got the milkshake thing on lock.
Yes, they do. If you like milkshake IPAs, go to Eagle Park.
Definitely. But yeah, so I mean, Forbidden Root we did in December, but I'm counting that in this year. We did one with microphone already, and we've got another microphone coming up in April. It'll be released on the 19th at our pre-party. We've got, God.
Are you doing Exploreon or what?
Oh, we already
Kyle
did.
and Adam.
My first collab I ever did was Exploreon. Yeah.
Okay, which one was that?
Funky Doc Ray. We took their
Funky Doc.
Yeah, we took their Doc Ray and we fermented it in wine barrels with a wild yeast strain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
that.
I've had a glass or two of that, and that was definitely different, but it was enjoyable.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that one again. I said, Mike, next time. Of course, I said to him, hey, when are you brewing Doc Ray next? He's like, oh, we just brewed it last week. Dang it. All right, well, next time we brew it, we're gonna make that beer again.
You gotta keep them on speed dial so you can just go, Mike, when you doing that? just call them all once a day. In case he forgets.
Oh no, it's just we hadn't talked about it, and of course I brought it up like, of course, the week after they brewed it, but
that's how it always works.
Yeah, we'll make it again. It's one of their core brands. It's a very great beer, a good seller, and so they make it all the time. So next time we're gonna throw some of it in barrels again. But yeah, just tons of collabs, a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Collabs are fun for me because I get to work with all these cool people and learn from them and teach them something maybe, and then we get to crank out neat beers.
And if it's a good collaboration, you also learn something from them too.
That's
the nice thing is it's a give and take situation. Somebody else knows something that you know, so you're able to work with each other and get that.
Again, this is touching on collaboration. Different brewers like to hang collab with each other and help each other. This is, doing the collabs is doing just that, helping each other out. Growing the Milwaukee craft scene has just been.
So I was going to ask, how are we doing on time here?
We have about 8 minutes.
8 minutes. So did we want to move on to?
Yeah,
let's do the Saison.
The Saison quick. All right. Let's put we're going to get a.
We're having a little pour action right now.
Yep, there's the tap line. Let's scooch this up a little.
Go ahead.
This is their tap line right here.
I think the more fun thing to look at though is my vintage 1946 Philco right here. This is behind me is the piece of equipment. It's a one owner Philco.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so it was in this gentleman's basement since he purchased it in 1946, and then his grandson sold it to his friend who creates. He maintains draft lines, he cleans draft lines in Madison for a living, and he converted it into a kegerator and put it on Craigslist, and we found it about an hour after he posted it and immediately bought it.
Oh,
and, that's awesome.
Had him make some modifications to it so it works for us on a commercial scale.
Okay.
But yeah, when we got the big guy, we definitely decided to keep the Philco because it's too cool.
So what do you tap on there?
It's nothing special, it's just whatever. Okay. So we have 10 lines, so 2 and 8. All right.
I'm gonna scan the brewery a little bit here so everybody gets to see what 1840 looks like.
The multitude of barrels.
Scan this whole. You got a nice little section to come sit, enjoy, relax. Some great beer made here at 1840. Is this St. Francis or is this Milwaukee?
This is Milwaukee.
Okay.
Bayview.
Bayview. Oh,
area, yep.
So we were in Bayview. I'll put this back down. This back right there.
So this is Language of Love. Have you guys ever seen Better Off Dead with John Cusack from the 80s?
Oh, it's been a while, but yes.
So
there's to get refreshed a little bit.
So, I mean, Chad and I are a little bit older, and so here you go. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Brewfinity, your Saison.
Yep.
So Chad sent me the link to the movie, and there's a scene in there where they have a French exchange student, and she's like, "Oh, I made a French meal," and she has French dressing, French fries. It's like totally not a French meal, but it's a hilarious scene. And this other lady is like talking about the international language of love, and so this beer was released on Valentine's Day, and it's a French saison. Like it has French ingredients, French yeast, all these things. So we went with the Language of Love reference from Better Off Dead, which is pretty cool.
Whose idea was it?
It was Chad's. He nailed that. He's like, I'm thinking Language of Love, and he sent the clip, and we watched it, and we're like, oh, that's hilarious. Yes,
yeah.
that is it.
Chad, as people have seen, we've spoken with Chad, and it's just hilarious some of the stuff he comes up with.
He's a great guy. Great guy.
Chad, Eric,
cheers,
excellent
guys.
beer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, so this beer is fun. This is a French saison yeast, and so you're going to have a lot of those really interesting peppery, clove, spicy kind of phenolics.
I was noticing a lot more earthiness to this. Is it kind of like a farmhouse style saison?
No, this is just an ale yeast, and so this is going to be, it's got spelt in it, which is a ingredient that's traditional to saisons in that region, which adds a little bit of creaminess to the mouthfeel, enhances the pepperiness of the yeast. It's a pretty cool saison ingredient.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big saison fan. The only saison that I've had that I actually liked came from Inventor's Brew Club, and he had a green tea saison.
Cool.
Yeah. It was a very laid back, very mild or light saison.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was very, very good.
Yeah, and I like this. I think this is right up there with that on the sour, because if you're not used to sour beers,
This is not a sour beer.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And that's where, that's where it gets confusing.
Seems like it would be.
So it's all the myriad of flavors you're tasting. Those are from the yeast, right? These are all the phenolic flavors that the yeast throws off during fermentation. But if you look at the pH of this, there's no acid here. It's not a sour beer, but it's a Belgian beer, and so it has like a lot of this nuanced depth of flavors. Sourness can come from wild yeast. Brettanomyces can make it sour, but for the most part, sourness comes from bacteria, from Lactobacillus or Pediococcus. And this beer doesn't have any of those things. No wild yeast, no bacteria. It just has a clean ale yeast in it. But it happens to be just packed full of these phenolic flavors that have your mind be like, what am I drinking?
Right, because you said sour. I'm thinking here that's got to be sour. It's got to taste sour, but it just has the very ever slight hint of sourness.
Yep.
So
it's
this
more of a citrus, and it's dry,
Yes.
so it finishes crisp. And so those are all things that happen when you think about lemonade. Like lemonade is refreshing on a summer day because it's acidic, and it finishes crisp.
Lemonade, so.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what your mind is thinking right now, but it's not actually a low pH situation, or there's no acid content here.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend, while they have this on tap, if you're gonna come to 1840 and you're not sure about sour beers, try this. I've never been a fan of sour beers myself, like Ken, but tasting this, there's not a lot of sourness, so
No, not at all.
a gateway beer.
Totally.
Is it at Brewfinity as well?
Oh yeah, and they'll have it on tap for
So
a
you can
while.
go to
We're going to
Brewfinity.
have it out at a couple of accounts over the next few weeks, and we will have it on tap probably through this weekend, maybe even in the next weekend. Hard to say.
Yeah, I'll have to get this video up soon then to make sure people can get here.
Yeah, so today is the 21st.
Yes.
Thursday. So it's whenever this guy gets me the video and I can get to the editing and just bangs it out there.
You'll get it, don't worry.
At least this is one of those videos where we're not pretending it's another day. Right?
No,
And then you accidentally
it's-
like, well today, you're like, oh shit, what day is it?
No, I don't do that.
No, we've been looking forward to this, actually. I've been looking forward to this. Ever since I talked to you the first time.
Totally.
Once he told me he wanted us over, I'm like, yes, I get to go to 1840, see what's going on here, and introduce them to everybody.
Yeah, I know a lot of people either think we're open once a month and they'll never be able to get here, or they just haven't had a chance because we're only open on the weekends. Some people work on the weekends or whatever. So I have really close family friends who like apologize to me when I see them. Like, I'm sorry, I haven't been to your brewery. I'm like, it's fine. My hours are shitty.
Well, you're open on the weekends, which
for most beer drinkers, that's good.
I found out about you from Tyler from Explore Him. I know he's going to watch this.
Yeah.
But he was just talking you up and talking you up. I'm like, all right, I got to get to this place. I got to check this place out. So, it's from what he said, it did not disappoint at all.
No, not at all.
I
heard a little bit from him, and then you relayed that to me, talking up. I'm like, oh, tasting these two right now, fantastic.
Yes,
so
I
love what you're doing here.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, we'd like to push the boundaries of flavors and just make sure that our beverages are an experience. And we're trying to just like make creative, world-class beers in a small little space. As you can see, this is it.
This is their brewery, everybody. The 30-some barrels.
3,200 square feet.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
No, but what you're doing is rather with as little space of what you have, you're you're doing some really impressive things.
Cool.
Yes, I
Thanks,
agree.
man.
I completely agree.
I appreciate you guys coming by and checking it out.
I appreciate you having us over.
My
It's-
pleasure.
This did not disappoint. Thank you for having us
My
over.
pleasure.
Definitely.
No,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Kyle.
Thanks for coming. Thanks to all your viewers for watching all this.
Yep.
Us just bullshit.
Hey, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So
all right.
until next time.
Cheers, 1840, and stay thirsty, all you bastards. Don't get heartburn.